Hi, I'm Paul Spiewak, and I'm the water quality monitoring lead for Lake County Lake Lovers. This year we have 21 lakes in our group, and I'm the lead for Countryside Lake also. Our lake is about 140 acres, about 9 feet maximum depth, about 5.5 feet average depth. So it's a fairly shallow lake. It's a man-made lake, made about 100 years ago. In fact, 100 years this year. Let's see. So that's kind of who I am. And now I want to tell you about our lake. Our lake is actually very good right now. Our water clarity is about 7 feet, and a year ago, the same time, it was only 4.5 feet. So it's much better. And why is it better? Well, let me tell you why. Through collaboration with the Lake County Lake Lovers group, specifically Island Lake set a good example. We decided to treat our the phosphorus that's been legacy phosphorus that's bound in from decades and decades, bound in the sediment. So we decided to put a cap on that with lanthanum modified bentonite, specifically the product's called Utrizorb G, and it lays on top and prevents that phosphorus from coming up into the water column and turning into the pea soup algae that most of our shallow lakes get between like mid-June and lasts till late August in most cases, many cases. Here we are on Countryside Lake, and we're using Utrizorb G for our lake to bond phosphorus in the bottom sediment. Right over here we've got the Utrizorb G specialized phosphorus coat. So it's powder, it comes in 50-pound bags, and they mix it with lake water in that little white container in the middle, and they sucks up lake water, bonds this powder, and then spreads it out.
What an interesting mode.
One of the things that Paul is doing at Countryside is looking to identify with some levels of detail both the external load and the internal load. Many lake communities understand the external loading, but the internal loading
Of phosphorus we're talking about, right?
phosphorus, not water, is difficult for them to understand. We have lots of shallow lakes that are what's called polymictic. That is, they have a pattern of turning over with frequency across a year that has the possibility of bringing nutrients up from the sediments. And in order to be able to understand what's happening with the internal loading, it winds up being important to understand what's happening with the sediment, the morphological character of the lake, that is how deep or how shallow it is, and based on that you can do estimates of what the internal loading is. Part of this process before doing that treatment is having to be able to estimate what the internal load is from the bottom sediments. Communities, especially the shallow ones, need to take a look at the literature that's available for them on it and start to do estimates of both of those things, external and internal loading.
When you say the literature, are you referencing scientific literature?
Yes.
Yeah, not just brochures from companies.
Yes.
Scientific literature, published papers.
Gertrude Nernberg is the lady that is the internal lake loading specialist for our country and for Canada as well.
So this treatment today, is it targeting the internal loading, the external loading, or
It's
both?
targeting the internal loading.
Yeah, okay.
So it's meant to deal with the sorts of nutrients that come off of the sediments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder if we should
So we treated that in April and May, and our water clarity has been amazing. Our community loves it. We just had a fishing derby yesterday, and it was wonderful. I think 60 kids or something like that, and some people are now fisher people, right? Than they were the day before yesterday. And so 4th of July is coming up. We're going to try and keep our lake looking as good as we can. Mother Nature's going to do her thing, but we're going to do everything we can to make our lake as best we can. And yeah, I think the collaboration is really a key thing. You know, we can share best practices, and we can share, you know, what's happening in your lake versus what's happening in our lake. What did you try? What did we try? Oh, this worked, that didn't work. And that collaboration is very good. And the monitoring, like I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, is really essential to, you know, how can you manage something if you can't measure it? You can't. And we work with experts. We work with a lot of experts. We work with our lake management company. We work with the manufacturer of the products, and we work with our expert consultant, Jim Bland, and all the online sources and all the professional conferences. And so it's a lot of information, and we put it all together, and we do the best we can to make our lake as good as it can be.